Welcome to the Fantasy Football Clown Show. I'm Ed. That's Justin and Brad. Well, the playoffs are ahead of us. We have the regular season in the books, guys. The first year of the Elite Eight, so pretty crazy. We were in the lab today. I think all of us looking over the um, brackets and making sure everything was right and getting each person into their different leagues to see the rosters that they're going to play. And so it seems like some excitement and just some of the chats going on. So excited to see where that goes and kind of some of the camaraderie across the divisions happening. So that's been really cool for me to see. What's your takeaway, guys? You jump in, before we get started.
Well, been a crazy week, up and down, close losses for me. A lot of trash talking in my home leagues. That 100% for sure. Lost to a very competitive good friend of mine. She's very competitive, just like me. Both Tauruses, so we're both very stubborn. Uh, so it was a good uh, butt whooping she laid on me, and but we're good now.
Perfect. How was your week, Brad? Are you in the playoffs? Do you know how many teams you have in the playoffs this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a pretty good season so far, honestly. I think 80% of my leagues are in the playoffs this year.
Nice.
So for the
So
Clownhead community, they'll probably all hire you next year just to run their teams and make them money. Is that how that's going to work?
I guess so.
Well, I'll tell you, I think every league that you're in with me, like you're in the playoffs. I sort of, well, that's not true. Clownhead's 4 and 5 or 5. I guess you're not in the playoffs, but yeah, a lot of leagues you're in the playoffs with me, and I did beat you last week though in family business small style. So just gonna throw that one out there. The last week of the regular season they put me in. I don't know if I'm in the 3 spot or the 4 spot. I know I'm not a bye week person, so I know
That's
I'm kind of I kind of get into the playoffs kind of as a later seed. It seems like most times. I think I just start slow and then I just kind of get going through the bye weeks and really start to win. And another observation I had today was that my third year dynasty teams, I started this habit like really back in 2020 in earnest. And those third year teams are starting to take off for me. Like a high percentage of them are getting into the playoffs. I only have a handful of second and first year teams that made it to the playoffs. So, my young drafting takes a little bit of time to take form in a lot of cases. So, excited each year to keep building on that. So that's kind of where we are. Want to have you guys hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the notifications so that when we drop these videos, you're the first to know. And I ask you to put any questions in the comments or any comments about what we have to say or our teams, in there as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started, kind of our normal format, and we'll start off with the DraftKings um, tournament here. I'm going to really brag this thing up. I finished second out of 8, so I actually got, I think, my best finish there. I think I've been third a couple times, but I got the second place here this week. So the Camera 8 came in first with a 160.9, and so he kind of had a lot of what the optimizer said to take. I mean, Goff 29.10, and I think that game was a big scoring game, and exposure to there made a lot of sense. And then Foreman at 8.5, Homer at 5.40, Justin Jefferson 36.30, so another key piece there. St. Brown with 13.40 from that game. So all three of those players from that game, a lot of points. And then Zay Jones 21.70, Okonkwo with 1850, Lockett 17, and the Ravens defense with 11. And I did not have a Okonkwo in my lineup. However, I hit on anytime touchdown with Okonkwo and actually bet him on 2 touchdowns and almost cashed it at $50 on my 10. But then didn't because I thought, well, I'm going to let that thing go and see if I can get to the 300 cash on the line. And it didn't happen. But, I don't play touchdowns very much, but I was on that this weekend as well. So, I didn't play him in DFS, but right there. So I finished second place, 158.58, so just 2 points behind, and then Rogers that 414 with a 144. And so as we get into the playoffs, just kind of want to let you guys know we're going to really kind of up our ante, so to speak, every week now as we go through the playoffs. I play 5 slates a week, and so I'm just going to invite you guys, $10 a shot. You can take as many of those as you'd like. Seems like we've lost a lot of steam on the head-to-heads. Only Justin played me this week, so seems like we're kind of losing interest there, but going to put those other slates in play. So this week we'll have the Saturday slate. There's 3 games on Saturday, and then the main slate that we've been doing, the early slate on Sunday, the late slate on Sunday, the Sunday, Monday, a 2-game slate, and then the Monday, Thursday, 2-game slate. So let you guys play in there. I actually had a really strong Monday, Thursday, so let you guys come at me there. Really, really cash some decent things. I think I had a 10th place on the Monday, Thursday slate out of a couple thousand people, so did pretty well in that as well. So off to the Elite Eight. We kind of excited to get this thing going the last week of the regular season, and our top scorers. Division A, the Wolfpack, 254.70. He's the number 1 seed with an 11-3 record. Division B, Oogie Boogie, 281.44. The first seed as well, 11-3 record. So you're going to get kind of a theme here for sure. Division C, we're going to come back to and just kind of bypass that. Division D, ZBM 7 with a 259.25. He was the 4th place team in the division and a 9-5 record, so he'll be in that divisional playoffs. Division E, Nico 180 at 260.11. He's the 5th seed, 8-6 record, so in that divisional playoff. Division F, Turkleton 2420 with a 279.51. First place, 12-2 overall, so really kind of putting the spread on the bread there. Division G, Top Flight Hooker 274.44. Number 7 seed, 7-7 record, and just kind of want to give a extra shout out for playing hard, coming in with 6-7, so gets the 7-7, no chance at the playoffs. But what he did was he took somebody from the 2 spot down to the 3 spot and out of the Sweet 16. So he created all kinds of havoc in there. So playing hard, with nothing to play. So just want to give him a shout out for playing hard. I mean, that's awesome. I really think, happy that he set his lineup and really want to just promote that, because that's kind of what we're looking for, is that good game and letting the winning team really prevail. So, and not giving people free wins, somewhere. So good job, Top Flight Hooker, on that hard fought Division G game this week. And then Division H, the Riverbed PT 7, 273.13, number 8 overall, and a 6-8 record. Played the number 10 seed there, so just playing hard, and I think both of them had over 200 points, so neither of them were sandbagging either, even though there was no playoff matchup there. So I just want to highlight that. I just appreciate whenever there's these good games going on until the whistle. So appreciate that, guys, and for the efforts there. Just want to recognize that as well. So going back to Division C, our leader this week in the Elite Eight, the Cammer, 296.28. First seed, 11-3 record, and just going to ask Brad about the Cammer. I know he's been part of what we've been doing sometimes, so just kind of want to hear from that. I don't have that team up in front of me, so what's that team look like?
I mean, this team is probably going to be one of the teams to beat in the playoffs. He's a 1 seed, obviously, but I mean his team's deep. This week he had great games from Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders and Evan Ingram. I mean, I would say Hurts is one of his core players, but I mean, he had guys like Jonathan Taylor on bye this week, and Christian Watson on bye, and Aaron Rodgers and Andy Dalton. Like, I'm thinking this team is primed to make a pretty good run. They look good.
They look good. I'm gonna just kind of bring up our Elite Eight brackets here, and so we can just kind of take a peek at them. And as we're looking here, I want to congratulate all these guys for starters. Everybody in the Sweet 16 here gets a game check just for showing up this week and playing on Thursday of $75. So they're definitely getting paid for getting into the tournament. And then with a win, they'll get a game check for $125 next week. So, one win and they're 200, they've doubled their money. So, but just getting there gets a game check similar to the NFL for playing in the game. You get paid. And so all 16 teams will get that game check of $75 this week.
Let's zoom in there a little bit, please.
What was that?
Let's zoom in a little bit, please.
Zoom in. Yeah, let's see how I do that.
There we go. There we go.
And that's kind of the top of the bracket there. And then we go to the bottom. What do you got? Who do you guys think are the teams to beat here out of what we have?
Well, I really like Johnny Ross's team right there. Of course, the number 1 seed, scored the most, one of the top scorers this year, along with Turkleton. Let's see. Can you scroll down a little bit, please?
I will pull down here to see some of these other.
And Oogie Boogie. Now he's in my league. He's another one of those steamroller type of people.
And I'm looking here, and of course we're all prejudiced probably for our leagues, and I'm saying the Wolfpack here, but I guess I'd put my money on Turkleton with that 4,000 max PF number. So just has so many points on the bench, and then 37 overall. Just kind of our top point getter. Did stumble and have the 12-2 record, and not the 13-1 record. But I guess if you were to, ask me, I probably would think that's my odds-on favorite to win. But yeah, I mean it's real hard, and my choice, as we'll see a little bit later on, isn't really. We're not very accurate, the three of us. So
yeah,
I'm not sure if we know too much or if that's our forte. But yeah, I think it's tough to figure out. I'm anxious to see how that all comes. One of the things that I thought was interesting, and I'll just kind of throw now that we were looking at it, and I wrote this down. There was 4 draft spots in the startup draft that have nobody on this Sweet 16 list of 16 teams. So the 2 spot, the 4 spot, the 6 spot, and the 9 spot, there was none of these teams that, from, which is kind of interesting, that spread of different spots. Like, it's not like all the beginning picks were good or all the ending picks was the spot to be. It's like this whole mix. And then the number 5 spot was the best spot because we had 4 teams come out of the number 5 spot as the spot to get to this point. So I thought that was kind of interesting. The number 1 with 3, the number 11 with 3. So, and then the number 3 spot with 2, and then a couple, 7, 8, 10, and 12 all had 1. But isn't that odd that the 5 spot is the best spot to draft from?
Well, I can definitely see it. Kind of there in the middle of the group, you can shield yourself there from runs a little bit, and also having one of those number 1 and number 2 pick is not always the best thing. Jonathan Taylor was, well, I'm talking about redraft, but I mean, like a lot of people went Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert with the first 4 picks in almost every draft, I think it was.
Yeah, and then probably Taylor was number 4, and then I guess if you went receiver, the number 5 was the Chase or the Jefferson. Is that who was going 4 and 5, or was it Kyler Murray?
It was more in the middle. It was more in the middle. I think there was one league that drafted early with the Justin Jefferson, maybe in the top 5 picks. But he was going between 6 and 12. I mean, I think the latest I saw Jefferson go was the 12th pick. in the first
Yeah.
round.
And I mean, I guess what's really interesting to me is the 5 spot had 4 people come out, but the 4 and the 6, the sandwich picks around it had 0.
Hmm.
You almost think it. I almost kind of come away saying, I don't know if it matters where you draft. Like I think it almost has 0 bit of difference. And then the league that I happen to do the best, and I don't know that that means anything, was Clownhead 5, and that's the league where I just said everybody pick first, and I just took whatever pick was left, and that's the league that I did the best in. I don't know, like it's just an odd, just an odd kind of thing that I just said, and I was a middle pick. I think I was like 7 or 8 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was, but somewhere, there, just in the middle. And I
Yeah.
was around you guys, like I think I was sandwiched between you guys.
Yeah.
So you both knew kind of who I would take, and I guess it didn't matter. I come away saying so. That's kind of the observation I guess I have there. Looking at Clownheads 1 through 5, and I didn't spend near as much time on this week, but just kind of to give a recap of it. Some interesting observations here. Clownheads 1, Hawk Thor 60 Pilot 244.02, the 7 seed, 7-7 record. So another person fighting from behind. Clownheads 2, KCMO Chiefs 235.59, number 5 seed, 8-6 record. Clownheads 3, Archegel 1989 260.71, the 2nd seed, and with a bye at 10-4. We'll skip over Clownheads 4, and then Clownheads 5, Steelers Nation 66 249.03, the number 5 seed, 8-6 record overall. And then our top scorer was Clownhead 4, Jack Powers 270.67. He's the number 1 seed, 13-1. Brad, what do you think of Jack Powers? I know this is the league that you are hoping to win, right?
It's also the league he beat me in this week. I played Jack Powers. And, it was a battle of the 1 and 2 seed, and he beat me by over 100. So,
So you kind of had a smackdown. Is his team good, or your team was not good, or both? Or
I got riddled with injuries, I think, this week with Kyler and Ramondre going down. Or it would have been at least a little bit closer, I think. But his team's good. I mean, he's got Pat Mahomes and Deshaun to really core out his QBs, and then he has Eckler and Rashad White, and then Aaron Jones on bye for running backs. For receivers, it's kind of average. He's going out there with Juju, Tyler Lockett, Amari Cooper, and Mike Evans. And then his tight ends were Evan Ingram and Freiermuth. So Ingram was really the factor of the high scoring teams this week, I think.
Yeah, I think I saw Ingram 8 of 9 or 8 of 8 for 100 yards and a touchdown or something like that.
65
what did
points.
Ingram score? What did Ingram score in Clown Heads, in Clown Leagues?
He had 64.2.
Okay, so he had a big day. If you had Ingram, you were doing big things. I know in my flock league I have Ingram, and he propelled me into the playoffs. So I need him to roll that number back again. And, need him to roll that puppy back. And let's talk a little bit about Clownheads 1 through 5. Which ones are you in, Justin? Which one? Clownheads 1 through 5. How many of them are you in?
4 of the 5, 1, 2, 4, and 5.
Do you have any playoff teams out of those?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you're kind of building for the future in those.
Yes, most definitely in those leagues.
And Brad, you're 4 and 5. Are you in 4 and 5? Is that right?
Yep.
And what's your seed in 4?
2 seed.
Okay, so losing to him still got you a bye, and you're.
Oh yeah, I was up by like 300 points on the next guy, and he was a loss behind.
Okay. So you're good. You still have a reasonable shot. If you can give Kyler to Jack, then that would help probably, right? You just gotta get some quarterbacks. Send Russ Wilson that way, or Lamar, or just send him somebody, or whoever's about to get hurt. That works too. You can just send him his way. Give him the the stuff. And then you're not. What seed am I in Clownheads 5? Can you look that up for me quick? I don't have it in front of me, but
Yeah. You
I know I'm in the playoffs, but
you're the 4 seed.
I'm the 4 seed. So I'm playing this week, and so that is of the 6 playoff teams I'm in. That's my playoff team.
Yep.
Out of those, and Brad, you're in the playoffs in Division C as well, right? In the divisional
Yeah.
playoffs. What seed are you there?
The 5th seed as well.
Okay, so you're playing this weekend there, and I'm playing this week in Clownheads 5, and so we'll report next week how we did in our matchups, and that's right out there. Looking at Clownheads redraft 1, Heifer 808 31705 is the number 1 seed and finished with an 11-3 record. And then in Clownheads redraft 2, Cheeky Hobson, a 262.68, the 4 seed, and a 7-7 record. So you can see the records aren't quite as good there. I'm actually in the playoffs in both of these leagues, so that I'm excited to see how I do. In Clownheads 2 redraft, I am the number 1 seed, so not playing. So I'll report back on Clownheads 5 and Clownheads 1 redraft next week on my successes or failures, whatever they are, and Brad will come back with his, how he did in Clownheads C division. So we'll kind of report that back. Looking at our predictions, our mid-season and ending, I'm going to just flash them up here on the screen quick, but my takeaway, guys, is that we don't know anything. We're not very good, for sure. And I will just blow this up a little bit.
Just looks like a lot of green for me.
You do have some green, Brad. You are right. So the left column is us from the beginning of the year, our preseason rankings. You will notice, though, Brad, I did beat you 152, 129 and 100. But I guess what's important is there were 329 total points, and we didn't get half of them. So, none of us are very good at this guessing the outcome. And then even after week 8 or week 7, I guess, when we did our midseason, you can kind of take a look at that. I'm really bad. I only won 1 week of us, but we're not very good there either. So we don't do very good. We're not even half right in either pretense there. So as we predict. So I guess the lesson, though, or what I guess my takeaway is less that this was kind of fun to do and all, but my takeaway really is that it's so unpredictable. And so if there's any message I give to fantasy players is I had somebody ask me today, should they start Dulcich, Taysom Hill, or Jelani Woods? And he has a bye in week 15, and he wanted to know for week 16 and 17. And I'm like, I don't even want to waste brain power on that right now. Like, Russell Wilson's probably not going to play. I mean, probably all those quarterbacks aren't going to play. Like, I don't even know if Andy Dalton's going to be a starter by week 16. I don't know if Matt Ryan's going to be a starter by week 16. I don't know if Russell Wilson's going to be a starter. I don't even know the quarterbacks, let alone those guys get injured, let alone know what their snap shares are. I mean, it just seems like such a pointless rendition until a week from tomorrow, next Wednesday's install day, like of what the offense really looks like for week 16. And I guess that's one of the takeaways I get from Jeff Ratcliffe is that, don't look ahead. Like, just win this week. Like, this week, all out, win this week. And I have blocked like an MFer this week. Like, I have never blocked like I just blocked today. Like, I have blocked so much today. I almost want to wake up at 3:05 a.m. East Coast time on Wednesday morning, and see what I got, because I have like 8 freaking quarterbacks I'm picking up. Now, I am going to decimate in the leagues that I'm in the playoffs against. I basically will have a monopoly of quarterbacks tomorrow morning, and these guys will be like crap in their pants because about what I'm about to say about quarterbacks. I have it all covered. Like, I have them all covered, and there's just not going to be. They're going to be crying when the injury reports come out tomorrow, because I think I have some insight, and I'll get your guys' opinion to see what you think about this. But as I look at the quarterback sheet, some interesting facts, and then and I'm going to get your takes on it because I think there's some. This has become way crazier than I ever envisioned when I was in my little got to draft quarterbacks and got to do backup quarterbacks because backup quarterbacks get 100% of the snaps. Backup running backs get a percentage of the snaps. Like Bam Knight gets some of the snaps when Michael Carter goes down, right? Like not 100% of the snaps, but some of the snaps. And Michael Carter comes back, and then they share the backfield. And Chuba Hubbard and Foreman, they share this load when Christian McCaffrey gets traded. Like it's not like just insert them. But the second that Kyler Murray got hurt last night, Colt McCoy came in and played the rest of it, right? Like he plays them all 100%. So whatever 100% is, we know that on the field 100%. So that's always my theory is just really playing is good. Like it's almost like looking at the snap percentage and saying, okay, that makes some sense to play that guy because he plays, right? So that's good. But 19 quarterbacks that started the year as a starter did not play at least two of the games that we played in our regular season. So they missed their bye week and then they missed an additional start. And so that leaves us with only 13 quarterbacks. And one of those 13 is Aaron Rodgers, who basically publicly said that, hey, as soon as we're out of the playoffs, I'm not going to play anymore. So we know that that's going to kind of drop off, and that's without any more injuries happening during the playoffs. Like that's how ridiculous that the quarterbacks have been, and we're on our 6th quarterback change in the Rams world. So, like we've gotten really deep. My colors codes have run out. Like I've run out of colors. It's been that crazy, and so as I just kind of start reading tea leaves, just looking ahead at week 15. Mike White is a quarterback that I don't know. Or what are you guys hearing about Mike White? Do you think he plays? I mean, he's a tough dude. Do you think Mike White plays this week? Or do you think Zach Wilson?
I don't think Zach Wilson. I think Flacco before Wilson.
I heard they're going to deactivate Flacco.
I'm not sure.
So I don't know what that could mean that it's Zach Wilson. That's why I said that is I heard that they're thinking about making Flacco the third teamer this time, which would be a change because the last 2 weeks they've deactivated Zach Wilson. So, interesting. It might mean nothing, but that's just something to know here on Tuesday as we record this that's different, right? I mean, that's a change from the last 2 weeks.
Absolutely, and depending on the MRI, I think it'll either be Mike White or Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
As of right now, it's Mike White.
And I think he's tough. Like the team loves him, so I think that makes sense. Looking at just kind of staying there, we have Mac Jones is going to play. Tua is going to play. Josh Allen's going to play. Pretty excited about that. What are you guys hearing in Baltimore? Tyler Huntley, or he's in concussion protocol though, right? Like
yes, he is.
And they play. And they
no
play
player.
Thursday. And they play Thursday, right? Turnaround time for Thursday to come out of concussion protocol.
Yes, and correct me if I'm wrong, no player this year has came back the following week after a concussion to play.
And they're so serious about, and not to say that they shouldn't be, but they're just so serious about concussions.
Yes, they are.
I really think that who's the backup quarterback guy that
starts with the A. I couldn't even tell you his name.
Anthony something, right?
Anthony Brown.
Anthony Brown, Brad. Yep. So he's a guy that is free out there in most leagues. That's a pickup, right? That's a pickup. Like you have access to Anthony Brown. It's worth moderate price enforcement bid. I would not bid a lot, but I would price enforce.
I would have to say, yeah, it's a pickup, just a block, but I would not start him.
Oh no!
I would not.
That's it. That's just a price enforcement pickup. So a lot of times I'll put a number on it. If somebody goes and pays all their fab, sometimes if I see they have $15 fab left and I have a bunch, I might put a 14 fab on it and figure if they bid it all, I'll let them have it. But they've got to bid all their money so that I know they're a zero from this point on, and then I know that I've just wiped them out. So that anything else happens in the world, I'm good. Now, in this week, it's win or go home. So I would be looking ahead at my bye week guys and making sure that I try to suck all their money out of them, if I can. If I can use my money to suck their money out, like I'll try to do that. So that's just kind of a play there for him. But I do think that we may not see Tyler Huntley. Kenny Pickett as we're in that division, he's in concussion protocol.
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea of how this is going to go this Sunday, so I'm anxious to hear what you guys think.
I think it's going to be both Trubisky and Rudolph. I think they're going to play, each of them are going to play a half.
Okay.
Because
what do you think is going to happen, Brad?
I'm not sure what's gonna happen there.
So I've heard from the Pittsburgh beat reporter today that it's going to be Mason Rudolph. So I think they're going to give Mason Rudolph a shot. We're going to see how that works, but you heard it here. I just think that may be what happened. Now, he wouldn't commit to anything today.
Yeah.
But I think he was so mad at freaking Trubisky. Now, maybe he flip-flops halfway through the game. I don't know. Like, he was just so angry with Mitch Trubisky. If you noticed that press conference after the game, he was lighting him up like there's nobody's business, and he was just sick and tired of Mitch, and he kind of blamed the loss on Mitch. So if Pickett can't play, I think they're going to see what they have with Mason Rudolph. Because
he's not any better.
No, I know.
I mean, he might not throw
that,
3 interceptions,
but from a franchise standpoint that's not going to make the playoffs, they want to analyze their guys, right? So giving him a start since he hasn't had one, then they can cut him next year. You know what I mean? Like they're just trying to make decisions.
He's garbage.
Oh, I agree with that. But
I mean,
think like they think.
I would have cut him a long time ago.
Well, me too, probably. But they actually have him protected on their 53, so they like him. So to some level, they like him, right? Protected on the 53. And that's what I guess it's important to kind of separate what we see as fantasy players and what they think, because they're the people that pull that stuff, whether we like it or not. Like you guys know, I can't stand Pacheco, and I hear all the time that he's not good, and yet they keep playing him. So I'm like, well, the people I'm talking to are giving me false information, apparently, because what they're telling me is the opposite's true. What I see on the field, the opposite's true. So, but similar to what I saw with Harris last year in Pittsburgh, I came away from seeing him live, and I'm like, this guy has no burst. I don't understand why he's getting all this run, and he's just not hitting the hole. Like, he's Marlon Mack. I was like, what's going on? And so, this year it kind of came to fruition. But now I will say this, and just to kind of not bash him too much, not actually too much, the last couple of games, I've been impressed with his burst. Like, I feel like it looks better. I haven't seen him live though, so maybe that's different there. But getting back to quarterbacks. So Burrow, we think he's going to start. Watson's getting better. Do you think Watson's getting better each and every week? I feel like
definitely this week he was better.
Progressionally getting better. I think getting better.
But I think Watson hurts his team overall.
Could be.
I mean, the running back has progressively gotten worse.
Yeah, no,
that's hard to do.
I think there's a little bit of circus to the whole thing. I think there's a little bit of circus to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of a circus act right now, and I think he's not what he was 2 years ago. We got to wait for that time. We'll see what next year brings if the coaches stay the same. But I think we'll see. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a coaching change. I'm not saying there should be. I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked if there was one. Yeah, I can see that. What about Houston Texans? I have no read on this. I mean, I was amazed at the Driscoll usage last week. So talking about people I don't think are as good at football. I think Driscoll's not so good at football, but I'm trying to be kind. But apparently the Texans think Driscoll's pretty good at football because they put him in there. I don't know. Like, are they done with Mills? Is that the deal? Like, this can't be good for his confidence. This tells me they're drafting a quarterback with the first pick. That's what this tells me. Like, this tells me that they're going to draft a quarterback with the first pick.
I would have to agree. I think because of the way the league has been going with the quarterbacks, more run-oriented quarterback, that's why they was putting in Driscoll here and there and doing the RPOs.
Okay.
Driscoll can run. I mean,
Oh.
it showed, but he lost him the game there at the end on the goal line.
Well, so Sleeper has him rated as the points getter for this week. Like they have him getting a bunch of points. So I don't know
Hmm.
if they know something we don't, or if they're just guessing, or what the deal is. But I get the feeling that these guys are auditioning for the backup job next year. Like I feel like they're kind of auditioning for who gets to back up the rookie or pave the way and be the frontliner for the rookie. But it feels like this is just like that's what's happening here, and the first pick is that. So I expect that we may see a change there. You know, I don't know, from Davis Mills to somebody else. Ryan Tannehill will start. Matt Ryan. So we're coming off a bye. There's been no talk. Matt Ryan looked poor to me in week 13. Another thing that happened in week 13 was that the first time Nick Foles was active instead of Sam Ehlinger. And I think that's significant. And then I think it's also significant that there's been a bye week, because if you're going to install a new quarterback, this is the time to do it. And so I wouldn't be shocked if tomorrow on Wednesday, when we start to see what's happening at practice, if we saw a quarterback change. I would not be shocked. Now, it may not happen because Jeff Saturday, who is coaching for his job, is also a veteran player, and he doesn't like to bench the veterans. So I'm not sure how he's going to handle Matt Ryan. I actually, if I was coaching, and obviously I'm not coaching, I would have tried to bring in Nick Foles at halftime after Matt Ryan threw that awful interception at the going into halftime on the pick six. And the reason is, my theory would have been, I could have went back to Matt Ryan after the bye, but I want to see if Nick Foles can come out lightning in a bottle, which he's done for different franchises, different times. Like I've seen him do it for the Eagles, for the Jaguars, and for the Bears. Like I've seen him do it 3 different franchises, just come out and light up the second half and win a game. So I would have been, if I'm the coach, I want to see if he can light up for a fourth time and win a game for me and see where that goes, you know, with my season the way it is, and see if I can just create this momentum. And he's a Super Bowl winner. Like he's not too much of a bumble. So I could at least explain that to Matt Ryan if I'm the coach. Like, okay, I'm putting a Super Bowl winner in for you. I'm not just putting some slug rookie in to see what happens. You know, like there's some buy-in that would come with that move. So I don't know. Like that's what I'm seeing there. You guys think I'm crazy, or you think I might have something?
I don't think you. I think the Colts are a mess. I think you got a better chance of flipping a coin and seeing who you get with their coaching. I don't know what they're doing.
I think that's another team that's going to be drafting a quarterback. Period.
They don't have the pick. They traded it to They traded it.
Oh, well, they'll do something.
I think they traded it anyway. Somewhere in the Wentz slash Ryan chicanery, their first round is gone, I think, right?
I'm not sure.
I think somewhere I think it's gone.
Yeah.
Didn't the Wentz pick become a first because they played him too much or some shenanigans or something?
Yeah, I think somehow, yeah. I think the Eagles have their pick or something like that. Like I thought I saw something like that. The Eagles have like a top 6 pick because of one of those teams.
Yeah, no, it's got to be. It's got to be that they. I mean, and everybody thought they were going to win, so it was going to be a late pick. So it wasn't going to be a big deal. And they thought with Jonathan Taylor and and they kicked it down the can down the road. Like it wasn't a 2023 pick or 2022 pick. It was a 2023 pick. So it's like so another good point to bring out. When I trade pieces, I try to trade pretty far out, because if I'm giving a team at the deadline a piece to win, I want to trade for a pick that's a year out, because that's going to be a high pick in most cases. Like that's going to be where the value comes, because they won't be able to run it back a couple years in a row with no draft.
Okay.
So anyway, that's just kind of my thing as far as that goes. But what do you think on Matt Ryan? Do you think I'm onto something, Justin, or do you think I'm full of shit?
It's hard to say. I don't think he has anything left. But I don't think they'll play Nick Foles either.
Okay, and they may not. They may not. I just could see it happen.
Mhm.
I think it's within the range of outcomes. So I guess I'm picking up Nick Foles this week for $1 or for $0, and I'm just holding him through the Friday practice.
Yeah.
It's kind of my plan. Like I'm just gonna hold him through the Friday practice. I'm gonna see. Like I'm picking him up for 0 and hold him through the Friday practice. I'm dropping the Kyle Allens of the world because I don't even care about him anymore. But
yeah.
even if Kyle Allen started, he's good. I don't need him. I don't want that Texans screw up. I just want, but I think there might be some meat in the bone for the panicky people that have Matt Ryan. If something were to be announced with Nick Foles, that'll throw people into a freaking frenzy.
Oh,
And-
I think
And the trading deadline's gone, so I'm not really doing much there. But what I'm going to watch is you ought to see people just like punt. I'm thinking about there's somebody in one of our Clownhead leagues that when bad luck happens, they just go crazy on the board, and just almost woe is me. So it's just an interesting thing about how injuries impact their mood a lot on the board. So you that's normal out there as well. So now we move on to the AFC West, and these quarterbacks have been pretty good. Herbert, Mahomes, Carr. I don't think we're going to see any moves there. Carr at some point could go to Stidham, but I think that's down the line, week 17, 18 without an injury. But Russ Wilson, what are you guys seeing about Russ Wilson? I think that's problematic. Russ Wilson.
Yeah, definitely, especially if they have to go to Ripon there.
So I have Ripon everywhere. Ripon is going to be on my team on every team known to man again. He's going to.
Oh yeah.
I'm picking him up. There won't be anybody beating me with Ripon. They'll be taking, and especially in leagues like the Clownheads where you start 2 quarterbacks. Like these people are going to take zeros, and if you can put up 30 against their 0, like it gets a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't see Brett Ripon ever scoring anything more than 15 or 16 points.
Could be.
I mean, there's no way that some of these second team guys can score those type of points.
Oh, I think sometimes though, like a Ripon could 2 touchdowns is 12.
Yeah, but for 120 yards.
Yeah, but they can throw 200 yards, and that's 8 points, right? And 2
Yeah,
touchdowns
I don't see that.
is 20.
and won't throw for 200 yards. If they can't, they didn't even have Russell Wilson throwing for 200 yards for most of the games.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, I guess I'm thinking that that's 200 yards though isn't that far out of the outcomes. I mean,
I don't see him even scoring 2 touchdowns as an offense. Their play calling isn't good. Like they
yeah,
just
that's true. No, that's fair. But are you thinking they're going to kick 3 field goals and score 1 touchdown, and their total is 16, and that's all they can score?
no, they score 3, maybe
Yeah.
1 goal.
So you're betting the under. You're telling me right now, bet the under. Don't worry about it.
Smash the under.
All right. I heard it here.
I'll tell you what. I'll send you $100 and you can just put it under for me.
Yeah, Denver's turned into the team that every team wants to play on a weekly basis.
All right, Justin. We'll talk on whatever day Denver plays, and I'll put in your bets for you on
Okay.
unders, on unders, and then we'll settle up after. see how it works.
Yeah.
I'll probably go hands with you because I won't want you to win alone. Just because I'm a cheap bastard that want to win, too. But yeah, no, I mean, okay. If unders it is, I don't know. I get so annoyed by betting unders because then when they go over, I get so mad. Like I don't know, it just irritates me. So it's hard for me to bet unders. But
You have a much
get a
better
one
chance
Denver.
betting under.
I could get behind a Denver under though. I could get behind. I don't know what the over unders are, but I can get behind the over under of Denver.
Who's Denver playing this week? I forgot.
Oh,
I mean,
Yeah.
they were
yeah,
playing
Brad, you look it up while I go through the next round of quarterbacks. So then we have Dak is going to play, Dan Jones, Jalen Hurts. What's happening in Washington? Is Taylor Heineke coming back? I see that Carson Wentz has been activated from the IR. Does it matter? They're just going to go Heineke and that's it?
I say why not? They're what 6-1 or 5-1
Yeah,
with
no, I
Heineke?
mean, I guess what I'm wondering is if Heineke throws 2 interceptions in the first half, is that the end of him, or you think they just ride it out and say, a long leash, we're not going to worry about it. You lose games, and we're just going to keep going, or do you think if he looks bad enough that the plug gets pulled?
And this is a Sunday night game against the Giants. I don't know
I mean, I'll throw
because
the
I think the
hypothetical.
Giants will win that game.
If the Giants get out to a 14-0 halftime lead, does he come out and start the second half, or do they make a move to Wentz?
Not a shot.
If Wentz is ready,
He's off the IR, ready to go. He's the backup.
He got activated. I mean, their coach has talked so much crap about Wentz this year. I just don't see him. I don't think the Wentz.
I wasn't sure. I'm really on the fence. So that's there. Looking at the Bears, Justin Fields is back. Aaron Rodgers. I think that we're only a matter of time until we see Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins. Goff really looked good this week. Geez. Looking at the next, this bracket's crazy. We got Tom Brady. I think the beginning of the end there for him. He's getting hit. Man, that line is awful. Like, I don't wish injuries on anybody, so let's be clear. But he's going to get hurt. He's going to get hurt, and he'll get knocked out, and it'll be done. Like, I don't know if it's this week or next week, but it's one of these weeks coming up. He will not be playing anymore because he's going to get hit. Like, he's already hurt his hand. It's already kind of beginning. Like, I see it. Like, I would.
They've lost 4 of their starting linemen this year.
Now Lenny's not on the field as much, and he's great at pass pro. And I like White, the rookie, but he's not the same pass pro guy. So I'm just telling you, I'm positive. Like I know it. I know that if you ever have any Brady shares, man, you need to hedge those bets for the playoffs because it's.
I've been trying to get rid of Brady for a long time. In one league, I have him, but I think he's done after this year. I think he's. I don't know if you guys saw that he messaged some Instagram model to come meet him after a game or whatever. He would take her out to dinner.
Well,
did you guys see that?
I did not. Now, I want to come back to Brady at the end here with Brad, though. Now that you just prompted me to think about something, but so we'll come back to Brady a little bit. I want to get through the quarterbacks, though. So we got Marcus Mariota given away to Ritter, right? So we know that's a quarterback change. Sam Darnold's going to be around. We're hearing that Andy Dalton's going to play, but I feel like that's by a thread. I did tell Brad this, Justin, this week, but I heard that Andy Dalton is a great DFS play, and they asked the guy Tom Browley about why he chose Dalton, if it was money related, because obviously everything has a cost. And he's like, no, I picked guys I think are going to score points. And he thought against the cover 2 shell that the Falcons play, apparently he's the 3rd best quarterback out of the 32 against that defense, and it's against Atlanta. So it seemed believable to me, and he's expecting a big Kamara, big Olave day as well. But I thought that, and so I told Brad, I said, Brad, we're not going to start him over Trevor or over good stuff. But if you're starting him over slop, like Rippin or a slugging, Purdy or like those kind of guys, like, I'd probably start him. I don't know if I'd start him over White. White's freaking gamer, but I start him over Heineke, who we don't know, if he'll be there for the end of the game. I mean, it's guys like that. I think you start him over. Like, you figure Dalton's probably going to have a decent game. So I throw that out there. Purdy, don't know if he's going to start. You guys hearing about him? Is he?
I say same thing after his MRI results come out to see if everything's all good. He's going to start.
I think he's
He's
the
good.
one of the guys that we've talked about that I actually think has a chance to play. So yeah. I do think that he's going to be the guy that plays out of all the other guys that I was down on. I really think he's the one that will play. The rest of these guys, I think, won't. And then Geno will play, and Baker's going to play. And then we have Colt McCoy in for Kyler and the Kyler Murray injury. I was telling Brad today, I think Geez, I don't know if Kyler plays next year.
I say no. It's easily 9 months if no setbacks to recover from this.
But then it takes 6 months to get your football shape under you after the 9 months. That's 15 months. And that 3 months from now is at the end of the season. And I just think with a franchise quarterback that we got to be prepared for the Deshaun Watson layoff, the good old fashioned layoff, kind of thing. Like
a full year, and they'll deal. Cardinals will deal. I would think they would deal Murray if they had any chance.
Well, and I think that I could see the Murray era being over in Arizona. I mean, so yeah, I hate to say that, for people that like me that have shares of them places, but geez, I think it ended poorly last night in my Murray shares. I'm not going to go out and give them away, but I'm also not feeling as happy and excited about them as I once did, and I think it goes back to I like to sell quarterbacks for a lot, but I never buy any of them, including my favorite guy, Pat Mahomes, because when last night happens, you feel ugly if you gave away 3 first-round picks for him, even though he's probably worth way more than that. But what do you do now if you bought him for 9 draft picks and your whole future's gone? Like
SOL.
You just set your dynasty team into craziness. So, Brad, crypto really well. What's the deal with FTX and Tom Brady? I heard that today he got a lawsuit filed against him. And, of course, the FTX guy went to jail. They arrested him in the Bahamas yesterday, late last night, overnight. And now I'm told that Stefan, the basketball guy, Stephen Curry, and Tom Brady the feds are thinking about indicting them on federal charges with FTX.
Oh, I haven't heard anything about it yet. That's crazy.
I heard that on the 6:30 news East Coast time, the national news. So anyway, there you are.
Yeah, I'll look into
that. So I knew that a lot about FTX and crypto and anyway. So yeah, so the Brady situation could be getting uglier and uglier. I thought originally that he and Giselle had about 100 million in it, but now it looks like maybe they both attorneyed up today as well. So they must be ready to go. Like, there's $1 billion lawsuits happening and things. So yeah, everybody's going to jail and it's crazy stuff. So I don't know. Could be big. Could be a big deal. Could be a problem. The NFL typically doesn't like to get taken through the mud either. They don't really. I don't know how they'll do with that. But anyway, so something to kind of keep our eyes on Tom Brady wise. So that was what I was going to get back to and ask. Geez, we've gone a long time, guys, but excited for the playoffs and where we are. What you guys have any parting words until next week? And I guess I'm talking to Justin this weekend, and we're betting the under on the Denver Broncos game. But
well, we'll see. They are playing the Cardinals, so it's backups against backups.
Well,
what's the over under?
I'm not sure. I didn't see that.
Didn't see that.
Here,
Okay.
I have it pulled up right here.
All right. 27. And we're betting under. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, if it's 27, I definitely bet under.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be 42.
Sorry, guys, my phone
Who's gonna
freaked
get the
out. I had to
ball?
reboot.
What was that, Brad?
Who's gonna get the ball to score 42 on their teams? Nobody could throw them the ball.
36.5.
36.5.
Under.
We're going under? That's what you're saying?
Under.
Can we tease it up, Justin? Can we at least tease it up to like 45? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think either of them are going to score 2 touchdowns. I guess that's the one time I shouldn't bet the over 2 touchdowns, huh? For the quarterbacks. Maybe
Gonna be like a.
don't play quarterback this year again. So,
Mhm.
all right. Well, I digress. But hit that like button, hit the bell and the subscribe button if you would. And thank you guys for joining us for the Fantasy Football Clown Show. And until next week, and we have some championship results to report, we'll see you until next time. So long.